Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here and like minimalist menswear, make sure to join in, subscribe, share this video, maybe like it if you do. And thanks again for tuning in. Today's video is a happy one for me because I finally have it. My OG white Achilles Low, the GOAT of white sneakers, the GOAT of minimalist sneakers, and my ultimate holy grail. I've waited a long time for this. To give you a bit of a backdrop, I fell in love with this instantly when I saw it about 7 years ago, around 2015 in Milan for the first time. And I was in a very different style personally. I was a bit more sartorial, wearing handmade shoes or dress shoes, Oxfords, Derby, stuff like that. And I wanted that organic feel of proper leather shoes, and I was never into sneakers, but these ones changed the game for me. I think if you know about common projects, which you probably do if you tuned in here by now, it is really a game changer considering the fact that the shoe was designed 20 years ago. It's gonna hit 20 years in 2004. That's the founding time. 2024 is just a year away, and time just flies as we know it. I think it's a fantastic shoe. If you consider that there was no shoe back then which could be worn for people who like handmade, good quality designed shoes, this is ultimately the best one that you could have had. And there's a reason to why the shoe has been popular for such a long time, and I think it's valid. I just wanted to take the time to make a video that's a bit different to everything out there. So I'm not going to get too much into the review of this shoe, but try to justify why this is worth it and how you could get into this and buy it once and make it last for a lifetime. So stay with me. Alright, so starting with the backdrop history, I wanted the white Achilles. Most people know here it is never really on sale, or when it is, your size runs out super quickly. So I waited 6 years trying to justify buying this at a price which is not retail, because I do not like paying retail prices. It's just the way it works for me. And in the journey, I've gathered a few other pieces. Like the gray one was my first one. I scored that around 2017. At about 200 euros in Milan, and that was a fair price. It lasted me 6 years. I made a fantastic video about it, how this ages and the quality is meant for a long time. I'll link it in the description box below. A lot of people found some value from that. If you want to check how these shoes age, definitely go check that out. Secondly, I got the black one because again, that was on an incredible sale, 160 euros that time at a local store in Milan, and that's a price that you can't beat, especially today. The black's in high demand and the prices have gone through the roof. That's the one that I have now. Then I initially was saving up for the white one because that's ultimately what I wanted. But I saw the blush pair in Holt Renfrew here, which is a Canadian retailer, for like a ridiculously low price, again like about 220 Canadian, so I had to get it. And then I said to myself that I'm going to trade these ones off when I see white at a price that I can justify, which I finally did with this one. I got it from a brand called Satire. It's an Australian business which operates out of Milan, Italy, New York and Melbourne. They seem to have their business operations buying and sourcing items from different retailers. So it's essentially like Farfetch in some way, but it's completely unmanned. And there is a few iffy reviews on the internet about this, but some of the people that I know buy from them and they've been quite good. And to me, they were quite good. The stuff that came super quick, about a week's time through DHL Express. And I paid about 400 Canadian, including taxes and everything, which is a price that you would never see again, especially here in Canada. They are ridiculously expensive from Essence and other places. It's like 680 plus tax, which is going to be never in my budget, or I would never justify buying it at these prices. So I wanted to trade off a few shoes. I did that on my Grail store. If you're interested in other pieces that are still on the Grail store, I'll leave it in the link description box below and you can check them out. And just do a cleanse and then save up for this one, because this is ultimately, I'm buying for life. So here's the thing guys, buy less, buy better, buy for life. That's how we roll. So if you like that, once again, join in. And moving on to Now, why I think this is the GOAT, this is the ultimate one, this is the grail. Think about it. When you're paying money to designers, because I work in design, 2004 is 20 years ago, they really set a vision. There are brands today like Theory, Cole Buxton, John Elliott, which base their aesthetic when they're trying to model their own clothes based on the aesthetic of the shoe own projects. It literally sets disruption in motion, right? These shoes, when they were designed, there was nothing like it. Still, we don't have nothing much like it. Of course, there are alternatives and there should be in an open market, but here's my problem with them. When you're considering something like a Koyo, an Oliver Cabell, or a New Republic, you're essentially paying $300 to someone who is simply inspired by the design and giving you an alternative. So you're not really saving too much money. You're just 100, maybe $150 is less. So I would not understand why I would pay that money to someone whose design I'm not initially in love with. So there's two options now. So there's a fork here and there's two options now. You either save up for the retail price, which I think could be justified if you're making that kind of money, or there's other options like End, Grail, Essence, Satire, eBay, Farfetch, and wait for the time, and one day it will be your size and your color at your price, and that's how I did it. Or you can really simply shell out $150 for something from COS or Arket, which would make you a decent quality. The shoes might last you 2, maybe 3 years, and it's still justified. But I would not fall into the alternatives, nor would I ever support getting replicas, because I think the replicas are getting much better. And if you follow the Reddit space, there's people now getting some DHL gate stuff. It's just an insult to the creatives. I think people who have worked really hard and they've had their business go on for 20 years. Everyone from Business Insider to the entire YouTube space has, fucks with these shoes, and there's a reason for it. There is nothing simply quite like it, and the quality has stayed consistent. All my pairs, I've had 4 pairs, and I also had the Chelsea boot, which is now sold off because I got other boots, so traded those off. Were all immaculate. I can verify you that these are meant to be lasting a lifetime. And with that, I want to present to you something that I came across Instagram. This is not sponsored, but I found them and I would like to point them out here. There is these cobblers in the UK by the name of Common Projects Cobbler. Now UK, England is the home of hand-making shoes, and they have some of the best cobblers out there because they have a tradition of wearing really high-end shoes and resold those shoes through age and time. So they essentially buy for life. Now these guys seem to specialize in common projects, and if you look at the amount of work they're doing and the quality of turnarounds that they have for pairs that are literally down to the dust, revamp them and put in essentially new life into them, which could probably extend your shoe for a decade. This is a win-win. If you wear these shoes and 10 years later, if you get them resold and the uppers retreated, you have another 10 years. You can go on repeating the process. The other thing is, with inflation, if you look at the prices, the shoe initially retailed for $200 in 2020. That is the equivalent of a $450 today. So inflation is always going to rise. The dollar's plummeting. We live in the economic situation that we are in right now. On that account, if you think about it, getting this the earliest at the price that you can justify and then sealing it for life is going to work the best way. At least that's how I think. And then finally, cost per wear. So say my grey pair, which was worn for 6-7 years, and I would have easily worn them for 1,000+ days, and long days too, commutes, long flights. It has been to all the countries that I've been to. I would have paid less than any other sneaker overall, if you consider that 220 euros, if you split it by the amount of times that I wore it. So price per wear is going to be extremely awesome. So with that, you have these parameters set in motion. I think I wanted to make this about why this is the greatest sneaker. And then the last point before I forget is that it's gonna seal in your style. So we all have been there where we get sucked into trends. Like I've tried the Air Force Ones, it's not my style, I traded them off luckily. It's a white sneaker as well. I've tried some other stuff, Converse, Chuck Taylors, whatever's, nothing's satisfying, you know. When you are building a minimalist wardrobe, if you have the key pieces like this one, this is the foundation piece, which I'm going to make a series on foundation pieces for a minimalist wardrobe. If you'd like that, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, so you have something that's going to seal you in and not let you stray away from your style, and then, you know, give you some permanence. So this is for that. This is for the permanence. Like I said earlier, buy less, buy better, buy for life. That's the motto that I'm going to roll with. And if you roll with that, let me know in the comments down below. If you love common projects, if you hate them, if you like the alternatives better, what are your thoughts? And once again, thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. And until next time, laters, bye-bye.